So I've been debating different things on Facebook about Catholic teaching.
With non-Catholics or within
with Catholics.
With Catholics, okay.
So one of the questions I posed the other day is, can you be right-wing socially? Truly be right-wing socially, i.e. things like, think it's okay to be homophobic. To think that it's okay to be transphobic. To think that it is okay to picket abortion clinics and make women feel bad about this situation. Now, I make this very clear in my question. Homosexuality, transgender, I think all these two, I think is sinful. They're a sin. I think abortion is a sin. Now, that I do not believe gives me the right to hate them, mock them, or make them feel bad about themselves. And I think people that do this tends to be more on the right. They have a right. And I'm saying that this should not be allowed in the Catholic Church. This, to truly be a Christian and a Catholic and right-wing politically, I think does not go together.
Okay. So, including demonstrating outside abortion clinics?
Yes, and I'm going to tell you why I say it in a second.
Okay, you can tell me now if you want to.
So, let's say we go outside the abortion clinic, no abortion, and one of the tropes they say is, we're here to protect these young, vulnerable women. Okay, that's wonderful, isn't it? I'm an ex-drug addict. I could take you right now to a drug house where there is young, vulnerable women who prostitute themselves to buy drugs. I don't see anyone outside that house saying...
Of course they won't.
They won't go outside that drug house and say to these vulnerable women, we'll help you. Taking drugs is a sin, you're destroying your life. To me, it's a hypocrisy of it. Or, I was told not so long ago that I am a weak Christian. I am not a mature Christian. I don't know what that means, because I think we should all be weak Christians and need the Lord. But let's not get into that. But the same person that told me I am a weak Christian then said she sees no problem in living with her partner. And that living in sin, well, it's a sin, it's not a big deal. And I say, that's not consistent, that can't be. That, actually, John Paul II and Bishop Barham say, is a sin against the Holy Spirit. The minute you weigh one sin against the other and you make your own judgment, is a sin against the Holy Spirit. What I'm saying is, if you're willing to judge me for being a weak Christian and you're willing to stand outside and picket this, come with me to Soho and say God hates fags. I'm saying, let's be consistent. If not, don't judge. And what I'm trying to say is, this is a very typical thing that the right, and I think that the right has hold on to Catholicism because so it's like, this is their way of saying, this is the spirituality I want, because that's how they see society. So it's not like they're Catholics and then they become right-wing. It's more, they are right-wing and they go, that's our home. And I say, this is not the right position.
So you either have to demonstrate by everything or nothing?
No. I agree with you, that would be a silly point. What I'm saying is you would have to be willing to accept that they are both equally demonstrable.
Well, if a person's taking drugs that are damaging their health, that's one problem. But when you're talking about actually ending a human life, that's to me of a higher degree.
Well, one second, that's not what I said. Remember what I said? That they say they're not demonstrating because of that, they're demonstrating because these women are destroying their lives. So I'm using the language they use. If they said we are purely demonstrating because of the fact that they're killing a baby, then I'm not going to give the example of saying we'll go outside the crack house with the girls that are prostituting themselves and destroying their lives. If you're concerned about destroying girls' lives, these crack houses are destroying girls' lives. So I'm going with what they put forward.
Oh, because in my understanding of the anti-abortion movement and emails I get occasionally, the focus is on the fetus. When I've been to anti-abortion clinics a few times, yes, one's concerned about the woman, but the primary concern is the human being that is to be killed. And so I've never seen it prioritise the girl or the woman.
And that's fair enough. What I'm saying is the conversation. I've been watching one particular young aspiring Catholic politician, which I'll name in a minute. He's called Ed Remy. I don't know if you've heard of it. As far as I'm concerned, a horrendous human being. But let's not get into that. He is very clear when he talks about abortion. He makes it very clear. All he spoke about was these women are destroying their life.
I can explain that. That's because politicians talk like that. They want to try and get it. They know that it's hard to sell to the public the idea of simply not killing an unborn child.
Yes, of course.
So focus on the suffering of the female who's a voter, right? I think that's what it's about. But actually, the anti-abortion movement is about, above all, the child in the womb.
I agree with that, Phil. However, what I'm trying to say is that they're changing their narrative. What they're not, the narrative seems to be now, we're concerned about this young lady. We'll even help her. There's some group that helps the child, the mother and the child.
Missing the point.
Oh, no, I don't think he is.
No, you're missing the point.
Yeah,
you've been talking 10 minutes.
No, okay, and what I'm trying to say is...
There's a point, it's very important.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to say is, I feel that a lot of these aspiring young Catholic politicians are more concerned to push a right-wing agenda than actually what the church teaches. Because these are then the same people that will say sex before marriage is not so bad.
They may say that, but let this gentleman...